Byzantine architecture emerged after the Western Roman Empire fell. It fused Roman engineering, Greek elegance, and Christian faith into a unique style. Centered in Constantinople, now modernly known as Istanbul, it became a visual identity for a powerful empire and a spiritual tradition. The style began in the 4th century under Emperor Constantine, who legalized Christianity and moved the capital to Byzantium, renaming it Constantinople. That shift turned the city into the heart of Christian culture and a new architectural tradition lasting over 1,000 years. Justinian I reigned from 527 to 565 AD and was one of the greatest patrons of Byzantine architecture. His goal was to express imperial and divine power. Under his rule, iconic structures like the Hagia Sophia were built, defining the height of Byzantine architectural achievement. Commissioned by Justinian and designed by Anthemius and Isidore, Hagia Sophia became the crown jewel of Byzantine architecture. Its massive central dome, innovative engineering, and luminous space set a new standard for sacred architecture and deeply influenced church design. While individual fame wasn't common in Byzantine times, the Anthemius and Isidore were known for their work on Hagia Sophia. They were not just architects, but engineers and mathematicians, showing how deeply architecture was tied to science, philosophy, and religion. Byzantine builders inherited Roman innovations like arches, vaults, and domes, but they used them in new ways. Instead of just function, forms became symbolic. The dome wasn't just a ceiling, it was a metaphor for the heavens. Light and space were used to inspire awe. One defining feature was the central plan, often in the form of a Greek cross. The symmetrical layout symbolized divine order. It also brought the focus inward, beneath the dome, where the clergy and congregation could unite in a spiritual center of the space.
Exteriors were modest compared to interiors. Churches were built with bricks or stone, often plain and unadorned. This contrast mirrored the Christian journey from the outer world of the flesh into the sacred space of the spirit within. Light played a major symbolic role. High windows under dorms and an apsis allowed sunlight to enter at just the right angles, making the golden mosaics glow. For Byzantines, light wasn't just illumination, it was the presence of God filling the space. Icons became central to the spiritual life and decoration. They weren't just art, they were tools for veneration, which were considered holy objects, windows to the divine. Iconostasis, screens covered in layers of imagery, began to separate the altar from the nave, shaping the worship practices. Architecture supported the liturgy. Spaces were designed for chanting, incense, and movement. The church wasn't a backdrop, it was part of the ritual. Everything from acoustics to the layout reinforced the experience of the sacred mystery and divine presence. Outside the churches, Byzantines also built fortresses and walls. The Theotian walls are a famous example of massive layered defenses that protected the city for centuries. These were engineered marvels designed for endurance and control. As the empire expanded, local styles emerged. In Italy and Greece, builders used local materials and adapted forms. These variations still retained the core ideas: domes, mosaics, centralized plans, linking them to the Byzantine world. Byzantine art focused on spiritual, not realistic. Figures were stylized, space was flattened, and gold backgrounds symbolized eternity. The goal was not to imitate life, but to lift the viewer's mind beyond it to the divine and the external truth. After the fall of the Constantinople in 1453, The Hagia Sophia was converted into a mosque, its domes, minerals, and decorative style inspired by Ottoman architecture. The influence can be seen in mosques across Istanbul, where Byzantine and Islamic styles intersect. Byzantine influence spread across the Orthodox world. Russia, Serbia, and Georgia all adapted its style. The onion domes and church layouts we see today in Eastern Europe evolved from Byzantine models, providing the empire's cultural reach long after its fall. In the 19th and early 20th centuries, a Byzantine revival emerged, which are seen in churches and synagogues in Europe and North America. These Neo-Byzantine buildings used domes, mosaics, and arches to evoke traditional and spiritual grandeur in a modern age hungry for sacred identity.
Architecture supported the central Byzantine, also spaces were designed in Georgia and famous are considered holy. The church was an abandoned part of the ritual. Protected the city from acoustics, evolved the layout and history, providing a sense of sacred mystery and divine worship practices.